This
share my
conference
screen.
will now be recorded.
I hope the screen is visible, all of you. Right? Okay. So before we start today's session, I just wanted to get some inputs regarding the session we had yesterday and day before yesterday. So I would like to get your honest feedback on how you felt about these sessions, and if there is any suggestion for improvement, you can let me know. All right. Second thing is today we will have a quiz at the end of the session. I'll share you a quiz which contains around 10 questions. Questions will be based upon the topics which I covered yesterday and day before yesterday. Questions are multiple choice and checkbox based questions. So you try your best to answer these questions. It's easy questions, but tricky because there are multiple answers. So you need to give your time and answer those questions. So as we discussed, we'll announce the results to you. We'll also see which answers are correct and which one went wrong. So immediate feedback will be given for the quiz. I'm using Google Forms to create the quiz. So that's a good option in that. And the leaderboards or the quiz winners will also be announced and put in the social media sites. You can expect some goodies there. Third thing is that ask questions. The questions which I have prepared is based upon frequently asked interview questions. But if you have any other questions related to the subjects which we are covering, feel free to ask in the chat window, or you can send an email to me offline also. So fourth thing I just wanted to stress upon is regarding the lab. So as I just yesterday mentioned that lab we are planning to start via an online forum. So your mentors, lab mentors and class mentors will communicate with you through WhatsApp. So expect you to respond to that and start doing assignments based upon what your mentors assign. The fifth thing is regarding classes, your regular classes, right? So we cannot conduct the regular classes primarily because virtual classroom sessions, we find it little difficult for all the mentors to conduct, because some of the folks are not in like Bangalore. They have went to their hometown, so there is an issue with the internet access stability. So not all mentors are able to do virtual classrooms. So what we have planned, and it's already announced, is that we'll create recorded classes and which will be delivered to you. So most likely starting from next week onwards, we will release these courses. So please be aware that the entire module is not created. So whichever topics has been created will be shared to you. So you can log in into the LMS and you can take up the subjects whichever you are yet to complete. So it's also possible that you may end up taking new modules. For example, somebody has not started microcontrollers, they can start microcontrollers also. So you have the freedom to learn multiple modules simultaneously. All right. Other than that, I request you to do self-study, revise all the topics which you have completed so far in Emergy, especially core subjects like C, data structures, Linux internals, and microcontrollers. Go through the previous interview questions, revise the topics, ask questions so that you are up to date, and when the chance comes for interviews, you are ready for that. All right. Okay. So maybe I want to hear some feedbacks. I can see some comments telling that session is not batch specific. It would be better if it's batch specific. Kiran, I understand that, but and taking some general topics, keeping in mind the larger audience here, because larger audience has already completed C, so it should be easy for the larger audience to attend these sessions. Meanwhile, if somebody has not completed C, I would say still they can attend, and maybe you can view the recorded videos later to get a better understanding of these topics. So the background is not there, it can be difficult, I understand that, but if you have a background, I don't think it's difficult to attend these sessions and understand the topics. Somebody is telling screen is not visible. I hope screen is visible. I've shared my screen. I hope it's visible. Can somebody confirm in the chat window? All right. Yeah. Fine. All right. So let's continue. So today we'll focus on maybe two topics. One is storage classes and memory segments or memory layouts. And the second thing is we'll also discuss some of the commonly asked questions with respect to pointers in C. If you have any other questions which are related to C, you can ask in the chat window. All right. So let's start. I'll switch to the question paper which I have shared. So meanwhile, I hope you got an email and you are able to access the recorded video sessions and also share the question paper as well as the programs and the whiteboard recordings, right? So you should be able to access all the videos and materials for these 2 days of the session. Okay. So first question I wanted to discuss today is with respect to static keyword. So I'll put the question in the whiteboard, maybe, so you can see the question. So first question is, what is static keyword? Most of you will know the answer, but I would like to hear from you what you understood about static keyword. So you can put your messages in the chat window, answers in the chat window. We are getting this question in the interview. I'm very sure that 90% of the interviews will ask these questions. How will you answer that? So give a very crisp answer, not just a one-liner. So I'm getting multiple answers. Okay, let me read out those answers. Arun says it can hold the updated value. Any variable can hold the updated value. Sushant says which holds the latest updated value. So variables you can update, right? You can always get the updated value. Static keyword used to declare the variable in data segment during compile time. Good, Tapan. Okay. Nasruddin Sheikh for scope and its lifetime. Initialized only once, Gautam says. Sujit says which can be assigned only once. Pooja says holds recent value. Forces compiler to store a value in data segments. Sachin says Sagar initialization done once makes the variable visible till program termination. That's what Swizzle Pereira says. Swizzle. Big chill. I don't know what it is. Big chill here. Static keyword is used to get the updated values. Whenever we need to store address of local variables, we can use static. Okay. So I'm not getting a convincing answer here, to be honest. Default value is 0. Okay, fine. Its answers are in bits and pieces. Can somebody consolidate the answer? Static variables whose lifetime doesn't end with function calls where it's declared. Memory allocation for data segment created Reshma SK says static can be created locally and globally. Okay, that's true. Nasruddin, static is a storage class which holds updated value. It has scope of program. Once initialized, next it considers updated value. Okay. Static keyword when applied to a variable lifetime throughout the program, and applied to a function, it is limited to its object file. Okay. To be honest, I didn't get a complete answer. Yes, your answers are in bits and pieces. So when you get such a question, right, in interviews, you should be able to give a complete answer, not an answer which like is partial. Okay, so that way you will get more weightage compared to other basically interview attendees. So when this question is asked, you need to ask you need to ask another question. So what is static keyword when somebody asks you, right? When somebody asks, let's say ask a question, what is Apple? What do you answer? I ask a question, okay, what is Apple? Some people may say Apple is a phone, right? But majority may say, okay, Apple is a fruit. So what is Apple? How do you answer it? It is context dependent, right? So Apple may be the name of a company. Apple is also a name of fruit. So depending upon the context, the meaning of Apple changes. Is that true? Right? So I'm getting answers like Apple is a fruit and company name. So both are true, in fact, right? Apple is a fruit, but in the context of a phone, Apple is a phone. So here also, when you talk about static keyword has two meanings. It is context dependent, or I'll say contextual, right? Similar to the Apple analogy. Okay. Now question comes, what is the context here? So context is with respect to, you can explain the meaning of static in two contexts. One is, okay, you need to ask further question. Are you referring to static in local variables context, or do you want me to answer in the context of static applied to a global variable? Are you getting it? So when somebody asks a question about static keyword, do not directly give an answer. So you need to further basically put down two statements. Okay, let me explain static with respect to local variables. Then start answering. Then you can say, this is what I answered for static local variables. Let me give an answer for static when applied to global variables. So what do you understand? Static has two different meanings. It's a contextual keyword. All right, Vikram says, sir, can you give an example of both local and global variable? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain here. So static in the context of local variable has a different meaning when static is applied to global variable. So let me first explain, give an answer for the first context. Okay, so you should explain like this in interviews. When somebody asks static, you should say, I'm going to explain static for local variable. So static local variable. So you should explain what is static local variable. And this is what majority of the people answer. I mean, majority of the people ask you the question of static, right? They give answer with respect to static local variable. Okay, so let me give an answer for this static local variable. So you all know that local variables are stored in stack, right? And what is the property of stack? Stack is temporary. So when does a stack get created? Can you answer? When does a stack or stack frame gets created? Yeah, stack frame is created when the function is called. When is it destroyed? When does the stack frame get destroyed or freed? It's freed when the function returns, right? So stack frame or stack is temporary. Each time you call a function, the stack frame gets created and the function returns, the stack frame gets destroyed. So what type of variables are stored inside stack? What type of variables? Can you tell me? Are stored inside stack frame? Yeah, only local variables are stored inside stack frame, right? So global variables, will they get stored inside stack frame? No, global variables will not get stored inside stack frame. Only local variable gets stored inside stack frame. So stack exists for a function, right? Now let me draw the picture of a stack. So let's say there is a function called as display. That's a function. So three things, as you know, are pushed to the stack frame. So we have parameters, we have local variables, we also have something called as return address. So this area which we see is called as typically a stack frame. It's not a stack actually, it's called as a stack frame. Now if we have another function inside the same function, let's say you call one function called as display and you call another function called as print, let's say, right? So assume display calls print and let's say main is calling display. So main calls display, display calls print. How many stack frames will be there? So main is calling display, display is calling print. How many stack frames will be there? True. So I'm getting answers here. 3, somebody is telling 2, somebody is telling 2, 3, 2, okay, 3, 3, okay. Anil says 3, Kavya says 3, Pavan says 3, all right. So Tirumalai says 3, main, display and print, total 3, all right. So yeah, the correct answer is 3. 3 stack frames are there. So now you need to ask question here. A stack frame is created when the function is called. So when does it get destroyed? So it gets destroyed only when the function returns. So let's assume all So function main calls display, display calls print. If print is running, still running, stack frame exists. Can everybody mute? Somebody is not in mute. Yeah. So when they call only main, stack frames will exist. One. So please understand, when print returns, the stack frame gets destroyed. So 3 is the number of basically stack frames that exist. So in terms of let's say here let me duplicate this page here. Duplicate. Sorry. So in terms of stack frame, how they are arranged in the order in the stack, let's see. So when you talk about a program, right? So a program will have multiple functions, and when you call a function one after another, let's say you're calling 3 functions, so typically you will have, for every invocation, it's not about every function definition, every invocation a stack frame gets created. Let's say first main is called, then display is called, then say print is called. So 3 stack frames exist. All of these are called as frames, and this entire thing is called as what? Stack. Understood? So these terminologies you should be familiar with. So some people mix these 2 things together, but the correct way to answer is what? Okay, you have a stack segment. Okay, this is called as a stack segment. The entire thing is called as a stack segment. Inside the stack segment, you have stack frames. Stack frame is allocated or created each time you invoke a new function. It is destroyed when the function returns. So let's say if print returns, then the stack frame will get destroyed. Let's say display function returns, then the stack frame for display is destroyed. So did you get this picture, all of you? Did you understand what is stack and what is stack frame? All right. Okay. Now, so what we refer to typically, right? Stack or stack frame contains 3 things: parameters, local variables, and return address. So parameters or arguments, some people call it, are stored inside the stack frame. Local variables are also stored inside stack frame. So what is the nature of parameters and local variables? They are temporary. When the function returns, the memory will get deallocated. It's temporary. Now often local variables are created so that we want to store values which are temporary in nature, right? You store, for example, result of a function. So result of a function you can store in a temporary variable and you can return the result. We will have some variables which are used to store the partial result, for example, or you want to create loop variables. All these are example of temporary variables, right? We don't need it for the next function call because the value is a new value which you get for the next time. But at times you want to preserve the value of a variable across function calls, right? So let's say you're calling a function for the second time, then the temporary variable which you created for the first time will not exist. So depending upon the scenario, we have to decide whether to use a local variable or a static local variable. Now Vikram says, sir, can you tell once again about how stack returns? The stack returns, what do you mean? I didn't get your question. You're asking how it is implemented at a low level, or it's a generic question, Vikram? Can you elaborate on the question? You can put in the chat window. If I can answer it, I'll answer it. So let's continue here. So let's talk about the difference between local and static local variable. So local variables are stored inside stack frame, or stack you can call it if you talk about segment. Where are static Okay, so Karthik says it's stored inside data segment. So I was asking the question, where is static local variable stored? Data segment, that's the answer I'm getting. Asha says it's BSS. Okay. Are static local variables also stored inside stack, or they are stored inside data segment? That's a question. Only few are answering. Not sure why. BSS, Rupa says BSS uninitialized. Data segment, that's what Sagar says. Sujit De Silva, data segment. Kavya, depends on initialized or not initialized. Okay. BSS, data segment. Pratika. Okay. Sohan says it's BSS, data segment. Tapan says data segment. Reshma says data segment. Okay. Let me answer this. So static local variables, they are not stored inside stack frame. This we are very clear about, right? They are stored inside data segment. Now let's not talk about what is data segment and BSS here. Both are actually same. In fact, only difference is, okay, data segment is split into two. One is to store initialized variables, other is to store uninitialized variables. So we'll talk about that later. So let's use the generic term here. Let's not elaborate further on, okay, what is initialized, what is not initialized. So I would say static local variables are stored inside data segment. Now let's take an example here with respect to local and static local variable. Let me open a program. So hope you can see the screen. So can you tell me what will be the output of this code? So I got answers already. Pooja, Sujit, Sagar. Okay, all are saying it's going to print 10 3 times. 10, 11, 12. I'm also getting certain answers. Okay, 10, 10, 10. Others says 10, 10, 10. Vasava, Kavya, Nasruddin, Surabhi, Sibi. Okay, so all are saying it answer is 10, 10, 10. 10 once or 10 3 times? 10 is going to print. Narendra says it's 10 3 times. Okay, so the answer is 10. It's going to print 10 repeatedly 3 times. Right? So we all know why it's printing 10 3 times. So what is the reason? So when you call function fun for the first time, let me copy this code, maybe. Okay. So here you can see the code. So each time you call a function, right? Let's take this example of first function, right? You're calling this first function. So when you call the function for the very first time, in fact, you're calling it 3 times. Let's say I'm calling the function for the first time. So when you call the function for the first time, first invocation, fun. So what happens? A stack frame gets created for the first invocation here, right? It's the first function call. Inside the stack frame, local variable count gets stored. So count is initialized to 10. So when does this happen? At compile time or at runtime? When is memory allocated for the function fun? So I'm getting answers. Tapan says it's a runtime. So fun function stack. Asha says it's compile time. Pratika says it's compile time. Pooja says compile time. Saida says runtime. Rupa says runtime. Stebi says runtime. Okay. Sachin says it's runtime. Compile time. Okay. Some of them says it's compile time. Some are saying it's runtime. I'm not sure why people are telling it's compile time. Okay. So my question was, when does this stack frame get created, right? So this happens only at runtime. So when you compile the program, memory is not allocated for the stack frame. Memory gets allocated for other basically segments. So there is something called as code segment and data segments. We'll discuss about maybe the program segments later. So stack is a pure runtime segment. Please understand this. So only when you call the function, memory gets allocated. Let's say if you don't call these functions, let's assume you're not calling any of these functions. Fun, you're not calling. You're only calling main, let's say, and in main you're having some computation code. And you assume you have defined the function fun, but you don't call it. Will memory get allocated for this function fun? That's the question. I have defined the function, but I did not call it. Will memory get allocated for this function? Let's say you define some variables in it. I'm getting answers from most of you. The answer is no. Okay, so that's correct in fact. So please understand this. So those who are not clear, you can pay more attention, I would say. So when you are defining a function and assume that inside the function there are many variables, code is there, but if you don't call it, memory does not get allocated for the function stack. We're talking about function stack, but code will get stored. Please understand this. Code gets stored inside a different location called as code segment. So we'll talk about the segments later, but code segment contains instructions basically. We'll talk more on that. So when you call the function fun, let me erase this. Okay, so when you call the function fun for the very first time, this is what is going to happen. Stack frame gets created, right? So you have the stack frame for this function fun getting created, and here you'll get local variables and parameters. So in this case, there are no parameters. Let's ignore that part. So what happens to the value of count here? What will it print? It's going to print the value as 10 for the first invocation, right? And after that, count plus plus happens. You can see here count plus plus. So when you say count plus plus, this value will change, in fact.
Okay.
So this will become 11. So this function is getting local variable is getting updated. Now when the function returns, so function foo completed the last statement, it returns. What happens? The stack frame gets destroyed. The question here is, will this variable count exist? Will the value remain there, or is it something which does not exist for later function calls? Yeah, it will vanish. It's destroyed, right? It's not accessible. So that's why it's called as local variable. It's local to the function, right? You can access it only for that instance actually, and it gets destroyed if the function returns. Now, first function we are done, right? The output is 10. Let us move on to the next line of code. Second invocation occurs here. What happens? When you invoke the second function, what is it going to do? It's going to create another stack frame at a different memory location. So fun function is called for the second time. When you call it for the second time, the same process repeats here. Now this variable count is not accessible here. It's lost. So a new copy of count is created, and that new copy will get initialized with 10, right? And the same process repeats. The code will execute. It's going to print 10 once again, and this keeps on happening. And count will increment again here, count plus plus. So count will change, in fact. So value of count will become 11. But when the function returns, this gets destroyed. It's of no use, basically. So hope you understood what is meant by local variable. Local variables are created inside the stack frame when the function is called. As soon as the function returns, the stack frame gets destroyed and the variable no longer exists in memory. That's what we can understand for now. Now there are certain other basically details which we need not get into, in fact. So when you say destroyed, it's not going to get physically destroyed. Maybe that memory can be reused. That's what destroyed means. The terminology destroyed is not physical destruction. So this memory which was in use is not in use now. That's what destruction means. Maybe you can reuse it. That's understanding. Now this is fairly simple program which illustrates the property of a local variable. Local variables are created when the function is called, it gets destroyed when the function returns. So it's temporary basically. The question comes, what if I want to ensure that this local variable is not destroyed? Right? That is a question which pops up. We need it. I don't want to lose that variable, and I do not want to create it newly when a function is called, and I don't want to lose it or destroy it when the function returns. So what is the solution? So please understand, languages are created keeping in mind programmers' requirements, right? These are common requirements of a programmer. I do not want to lose the value of a variable when the function returns. Now there are, I'm getting multiple answers here. Yeah, Monisha says static, use static, Pratiksha, Nibin, Don, Karthik, to create a variable and data segment static or use global. Yeah, that's true. The solution, right? So there are two solutions in fact for this. What are the two solutions? One, you can define a global variable. Second solution is create a static local variable. Two options are there. Let's talk about maybe static local variable, because I'm assuming that you know what is global variable. But let's talk about static variable here, static local variable. I'll take another example. So this is local. Take static local. So there's a small change here. You can see I have added on line number 9. I just added a keyword static. So count is a static local variable now. So what is the difference between local variable and static local variable? That's a question. What is the difference here? With respect to previous code, what difference will be observed? Sujit says it's stored in data segment. Okay. Chaitra says, okay, it's stored latest value. Static variable will be executed in compile time. That's what Karthik says. Tapan says lifetime. Now it says that line executes at compile time. Lakshmi compile one time in static. Updated values. Answer is 10, 11, 12. Okay, I'm getting a lot of answers here. Narendra Kumar says memory allocation, local variable stored inside stack, static variable stored inside data segment. When fetches static variables again gets updated value. Lifetime is till the program ends. It stores previous value. Okay, Shivraj. I'm getting a lot of answers here. Maybe let me summarize here. So count value is stored in data segment, so gets updated on every call. True. Okay. So let's try to understand how this program works. So majority of you gave the correct answer, telling that okay, static local variables or any static variable in general are stored inside data segment. They are not stored inside stack segment. So what is the advantage of storing data segment? It's permanent. It's not temporary, right? Stack frame is temporary. It gets created, the function is called, it is destroyed and the function returns. That's not the property of a data segment. So data segment, when is it created? Can somebody tell me? When is data segment created? Yeah, Tapan says it's created at compile time. True. Okay, so Asha, Arun, Rupa, Sushant, Prateek. Okay, so all are telling it's compile time. Akshata. Okay, fine. So unlike stack frame, which is created when the function is called. Okay, Nasruddin Sheikh says when the loader starts. Okay, that's also a correct answer. So only when the program is loaded, because here we can both answers are right, I would say. When the program loads, memory gets allocated. So it depends on the context here again. So you can either say it is variable is created at compile time, but at compile time, please understand that it's a dormant file. It's not running. It's there in your disk actually. Only when you run, the program gets loaded or copied to RAM. So both the answers are correct. We can say it's compile time or when it is run, when you start the program. Because when you start the program, actual memory is allocated inside RAM. When you have compiled and stored the program in the disk, it resides in the hard disk actually. All right. So let's talk about this in detail. So before I explain this, maybe I can talk about some segments. So this concept, to understand this concept, maybe we should have a understanding of a bigger picture. So I'll explain the high level topic, which is program segments. Then we will discuss about this example. So then you'll get a clarity. Right? So program segments, also called as memory layout of a program. Right? So in fact, same terminology. Memory layout of a program. So program, what is a program? Program, when you talk about program, you're talking about executable here, right? We're talking about exe or binary file. We're not talking about C program here. Please understand, a compiled program, executable, binary. That's what we are referring to here. So here a.out, for example, right? Executable, a.out. Any program, any binary file which you can execute. That's what you're referring to. So when you talk about a program, so when you compile it, a high-level program written in C, it will get compiled into a machine code, binary file it generates. The compiler will generate an executable, and this executable, what does it contain? So I said program, maybe I just remind you, program contains only two things. It contains instructions which will be executed by the CPU, plus instructions operate on data. Fairly clear? So a program is nothing but a set of instructions, and these instructions operate on data. So the question is, where are these instructions stored? Where is this data stored? That's the question which you need to understand here. So when you compile a program, instructions are stored. In which segment? Where are instructions stored? Code segment, true. Okay, so instructions are stored inside code segment. I will call it as CS, code segment. Code segment is also known as, what is the other name of code segment? Yeah, Kavya says text segment. So code segment is also called as text segment. Okay. What is the other segment that is created? Where is data stored? Data segment, true. So data is stored inside data segment. DS, I'll call it. Any other segment, does it exist? A.out, for example. You're talking about executables, files, executable files we're talking about. We are not talking about what happens when you run the program. So please understand the context here. I'm asking the question, okay, when you compile a program, we get an executable, A.out we get. Inside this A.out, what all segments are there? The file which there is resides in your hard disk, which you are not running yet. You're not run the program. Let's say you just compiled it, stored the program in your disk. You're not running it. What does it contain? Will it contain the stack segment? Will it contain the heap segment? So Tapan says compile time only data segment and code segment ELF headers. Okay, no, I'm getting answers, only data segment. Okay, no. So yeah, so you're right here. So stack segment does not exist inside the executable file. Heap segment does not exist inside the executable file. Only code segment and data segment exist. And there is some additional headers. Let's not bother about it right now, like ELF headers, etc. Now, one more thing you need to understand here is data segment is split into two. What is that? Can you tell me? Data segment contains data. We know that. What type of data we'll see? It's split into two. What does it contain? Initialized and uninitialized. That's what Rakesh says, right? So you can categorize data segment into two. One is initialized, other is uninitialized. So I can put it like this. So what is uninitialized data segment called as? BSS we call it, right? BSS. Okay. So some people don't use this terminology of BSS. They say, okay, data segment, initialized data segment, uninitialized data segment. So these are terminologies. You don't have to worry much about it. But at a very high level, you can say, okay, when you talk about an executable file, it contains code segment. It also contains data segment. That is one answer you can give. Okay, when somebody asks you. And data segment is split into two: initialized data segment, uninitialized data segment. So this BSS contains uninitialized variables, and here you can, it has what? In BSS you have initialized variables. That's a major difference. And BSS starts for Tapan. Block started by symbol. Good. Okay, Narendra also. Now, hope we are clear about what segments exist in a program, right? A program is nothing but an executable which is created by the compiler. Now let me add some additional things here. So here, what does it contain? Instructions, right? We say instructions are stored here. Instructions. So when you talk about high level language, when you say instructions, instructions are part of functions actually. Right? They are part of functions. When you talk about low level program, right? So it's like you will have machine code. Like if it's assembly, it's like assembly instructions will be there. Now we are talking about machine code here. Code is compiled, it contains instructions in machine code. Data segment, when you talk about data segment BSS, what type of variables get stored inside data segment? So when you say type of variables, I'll tell you what are the different types of variables. Let me put types of variables in a different slide here. The types of variables, when I say, you have something called as local variables, you have something called as global variables, we have something called as static local, we have something called as static global, we also have something called as block variable, right? This is what I mean by type of variables. So in these 5 type of variables, which ones will go to data segment? So Nasruddin, okay, says it's static global. Okay. What about static local? Where is it stored? Is static local stored inside stack? Excluding local, Karthik says excluding local, everything is stored inside data segment. Now please understand, local variables are created at runtime only when the function is called, right? Block variables, I hope you are also aware of block variables. It's also a category of local variables only. So excluding these two, excluding which two? Local and block. So local variable and block variable, where are they stored? In stack. Rest of the variables in this category is stored inside data segment. Okay. Now we can further divide this in global variable initialize, global variable not initialized, like that. So let's not worry about that right now. So hope it's clear. So local variables and block variables are stored inside stack. Everything else, including global, static local, are stored inside data segment. So you can apply some common sense here for answering these type of questions? I would say it's very obvious. So when you talk about local variables, yeah, we know it is created when the function is called. That means it's something which needs to be created at runtime. If I don't call the function, stack frame will not get created. So it means it does not exist during compile time, right? This applies for block variable also. All other variables like global variables, they don't belong to a function, right? Static global variables, they don't belong to a function. Now the exception is static local. Okay, so we'll talk about that also. So what I will do is, let's go back to the previous window here and let's list down what type of variables are there in data segment and BSS. I'll put this as a general thing. So we have global variables. Change the color of the pen maybe so that it's readable. So global variables, we have static variables. I just put it as 2 here. You can always combine this with static. When you say static, it can be local or global. Okay, static applies to local as well as global. So global variables and static variables are stored where? Inside data segment. And if it's initialized, it goes to data segment. If it's not initialized, it goes to BSS. That I already mentioned here. Now, where is local variable? Local variable does not exist yet. It's nowhere in the picture here. Okay, it doesn't exist. Is this clear? Is this concept clear? That when the program is compiled, local variables are not created. Hope it's clear. So only confusion here comes with respect to static local variable. Okay, you are mixing up both, right? Now somebody may ask you, just now you said, okay, local variables are created inside stack. What about static local variables? That's only a question that pops up. Otherwise, I think everything is straightforward. Global, okay, pretty obvious. Okay, it's created inside data segment because it's not part of a function. Now static local, when you say, okay, we may get a feeling that isn't it part of a function? Shouldn't it get created when the function is called? Okay, that's what we will discuss next year. Let's talk about static local specifically here. So we're discussing about static local. So static local variables, they are stored inside data segment. Can somebody tell me what is the intention here? Why are they stored inside data segment? Why they are not stored inside stack? What could be the reason? What is the reason static local variables are stored inside data segment and not in stack? Yeah, Karthik, to make it permanent. Any other answer? To retain its value. Stack gets cleared, Kavya says. Okay. Stack gets destroyed, Shubham Singh says. True. To make the value updated, not destroyed, says Nibin. Okay. Rupa says to make the value updated, to retain previous value. Make the value reusable. True. Okay. So because it's not destroyed. So I would say you are giving multiple answers, but the reason is same. I would say stack is not permanent. Yeah, true. So we know the property of a local variable, right? So local variables are temporary, right? It's temporary. You know this. Let's say we don't want to make it temporary. Now there are two choices. What are the two choices? If we don't want to make it temporary, we want to make it permanent. There are two choices. One choice, make it global. What is the other choice? Make it static local. Correct? Now question is, which one is better? You have a choice now. Which one will you opt for? I want a permanent variable. Will you opt for global because global is also permanent, or will you opt for static local? Which one will you choose? Reshma says global, Chaitra says global, Surabhi says static local, Tapan says static, Vinayak says global. It varies according to your scope. Yeah, and I'm giving a choice. Both works. Which one will you use? That's a question. So Stebby said it varies according to scope. Ramachandra says static local, which has file scope. That's not true. Srija, static local, static, global, static. Sohan says static. Arun says static. Asha static. Tapan says because if you use global, it's not safe. Ganesh says depends. Static local, static, since it's limited to current file. Scope is question again here. Static local because same variable name can be used in different functions. Global, okay, fine. So I'm getting answers here. So please understand that both exist, right? Global exist. Now what is the property of global variable? The property of global variable is that you can access it anywhere inside the program. That means you can access the variable from any function, right? You can access from anywhere. Any function can access it. But what is static local? So if you define a variable as global or static local, both are permanent. But what is the difference here? What about static local? What happens to that variable? Is it accessible from any function or only that function? Yeah. So Arun says, okay, within block. Kiran says within the function. Okay, not accessible, only that function. So what is limited here? It is function can be accessed. So function scope. The scope of static variable is what? Function scope. So which one will you choose? Now you know this, right? Okay, global variable can be accessed from any function. Static local variable is also permanent, but you can access only inside that function. Now, depending upon your need, depending upon your use case, you decide which one to use. If you think that variable should be accessed only from within the function, what should we do? We should access static local variable. Okay, so if I think that okay, this variable should be accessed only by this function, then I will declare it as static local. But if I feel that okay, this variable should be accessed by other functions as well, then I'll go for global. Okay, so it's a choice. You can decide based upon the use case here. If the use case says that it should be accessed by all functions, you can make it as global. If the use case says no, only this function will use it, make it as static local. Now the program which I showed you here, what do you think will be the output now? So it says 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, Ganesh, Meghna. Will it print 10, 10, 10? Or will it print 10, 11, 12? So Kavya is asking a question, if local and global variable name is same, is it valid? Yes, it's valid, Kavya. Okay, since they are in different scope, it works. Okay, so I'm getting answers from Kiran, Tapan, Surabhi, Sonali that answer will be 10, 11 and 12. That's true. Okay, so we saw the previous program without static keyword and this program with the static keyword. So difference is static variables are not stored inside stack. They are created inside data segment. And when is the value initialized? Can somebody tell me this variable count? When does it get created? And when is it initialized with 10? Yeah, Samuel says it's compile time. Nasruddin Sheikh says the runtime, compile time, compile time. First function call, Tapan says compile time, compile time, compile time. So I would say the answer is compile time. True, because the data segment is created when? During compile time. At the time of compilation, data segment gets created and value of count is initialized to 10. So I have multiple questions here with respect to this. Nasruddin Sheikh says runtime. Actually, it's not runtime. We can call it as compile time, Nasruddin, because during compile time, just now we discussed program segments, right? Two segments are created, data segment and code segment. And compiler will initialize the variable to 10. This is the job of the compiler. Compiler will do it. It will store the value of 10 in it. So correct answer is the global variables and static variables are created and initialized during compile time. Okay, so that is one thing which you have to be aware of. So with respect to static, both static and global variables, this property holds true. What is the property? Maybe let us ignore the global variable part now. I'll take static variable. So first thing is created and initialized. Okay, both and initialized. When? During compile time. Clear? If you understood this first line, right, you should be able to answer many of the interrelated questions. This is very clear that it's created and initialized during compile time. Most of the tricky entry questions you should be able to answer with respect to static keyword. This is where people do mistake. Okay. So what does this imply? This also implies that it is not created when the function is called, not at runtime. Is that clear? Are you getting this point? Okay. So please understand this variable, static variable, be it initialized or not initialized, it is created during compile time. So it is having a value already before you run it. It's not initialized when you call that particular function. Agreed? All of you? Okay. Okay. Asha says yes. Okay. Nasruddin says yes. So let me switch back to that previous example. So this program, So let me copy this. Okay, Tapan, you need to understand what I'm saying. Then what about function first line variable declaration? That's what I'm trying to make you understand. I'll show an example to you, then you should be able to understand what I'm telling. Okay, so this can be a little confusing. The question that Tapan is asking is, what about this line? Right, that's what you're asking. This line Tapan is asking, what happens to this? I'll come to that. Okay, so this line is never executed, it's compiled. That line will never get executed at runtime. Okay, we'll see another example which makes things clear for you. But this example also is good enough. Okay, so let me switch to this. So what will be present before you run the program? Can somebody tell me? Question is, will count exist? That's a question. Will count exist before you run the program? Let's say compile the program. Will count exist? Yes, it exists. Let's say you run the program, right? Will count exist? Yes, it exists. So as soon as you run the program, what happens? The segments get copied to RAM and already count is there inside the program that gets loaded. So let's say you have not yet called these functions, right? Let's see. So let's assume, okay, program loaded. Program is loaded. And you haven't yet invoked this. This is not invoked yet. Not invoked yet. Does this hold true? Will count become 10 or not? Is the question. Amol, I'll answer your question one by one. What is the difference between static global and global? I'll explain later. So in this context, will count exist is the question. Count, will it exist even before you call the function? Yes, count will exist even before we call the function. Please understand this. Okay, even if I do not call the function fun, count will exist and it will be initialized to 10. So what does it imply? So it implies that this line number 9 which we see here, this line number 9 which we see here is never executed. All right, it is never executed. This line number 9 is never executed. Count is equal to 10, never executed. Then what does it mean? It implies this line is compiled and the compiler will remove that statement from the code. Little tricky thing, right? So that line will be removed by the compiler. So compiler will create the variable, value to 10, count is equal to 10. CP will not see that statement at all. It's removed actually. Is that clear? Count is equal to 10 statement will never get executed by the CPU. Count is equal to 10 is nothing but an instruction to the compiler to store that variable count inside data segment and initialize to 10. Now, when you think like this, all our problems are solved. In fact, if you say count is equal to 10 is executed, then it means that you get the same answer as previous one. And the compiler does not add an if condition there. Somebody says, okay, only during the first time count equal to 10 is initialized. If that's the case, you have to put an if condition there, right? Is the function called the first? Let me initialize it to 10. If the function is called for the second, do not initialize it like that. Please understand this. No, there is no at time. So here I'll repeat this because this seems confusing for people. So count is equal to 10 equal to compiler when the program is compiled. The statement count is equal to 10 is never executed. Not be present. So you can see only line number 10 and 11 in the code. Clear? Let's proceed with execution now. Now let's proceed with the. So I'll copy this maybe. Okay. Now let's have a look at the execution flows. So count is initialized with 10. Now as soon as you run the program, what happens? The function is called, let's assume fun is called for the first time. Right? Fun is called for the first time. So what happens here? Line number 9 will not get executed. Line number 10 will directly execute. What is the value? It's going to print. It's going to print as 10 because 10 is already present inside count. So first time when you invoke, please understand the variable will not get initialized. The value is already initialized. As soon as you run the program or during compile time, value is already initialized. Count plus plus. What happens to count now? So count will become 11 now. Right? That's what is going to happen for count. Now when the function returns, what happens? If the function returns, will the count variable get destroyed? Is it same as local variable or it's permanent? So it will not get destroyed. Yeah, I'm getting answers from most of you that it is not destroyed. That's true. So this is stored inside data segment DS. So it's permanent. The value is permanent. That's advantage. So for the next call, what is going to happen? We call the function again for the second time. First time we got the output as 10. What happened? The function is called. Line number 9 is not present. Actually, it is never getting executed. It will directly print the value of count. So what's the value of count inside the data segment? It is 11. In second invocation, count will again increment. Count will become 12. Right? Initially it was 11. It becomes 12. And the function will return again. The function returns. We don't have any problem because count is stored inside data segment. So what will be the output for the third invocation? The third invocation, again, it is going to print the value as 12. So output will be 10, 11, and 12. So third function also returns. Third function also updates the value of count. So value of count will become 13. Right? But we are not printing it again. So last function, third function call will update the value to 13. Hope it's clear. So initially it was 10. Each time the function is called, the value gets updated. And the next function can access the old value because it is stored inside the data segment. It's not stored inside the stack segment. The value is retained across function call. So what is the advantage of static local variable? can use the variable across function calls, right? Across function calls, the value is retained here. Value is not destroyed in the function returns. It's permanent. But let me ask another question here. Can I access this count variable in main? Can I access this variable in main? Count, is it accessible in main? Or it can only be accessed inside function? All right, so everybody is answering as no, that's true. Okay, so why we cannot access count inside main? Yeah, Pavani says it's local to the function. Yeah, Chaitra also says it's inside the function you can access. So what is limited here? Scope is limited. Yeah, true. So even though the value is a permanent, we cannot access it outside the function because we have defined it inside the functions, local to the function. Scope is limited, but lifetime is permanent, right? Lifetime is permanent. Let me take another example so you can try to answer this question. So what do you think will be the output of this code? There's a function. Inside the function, you define a local variable called as flag, which is initialized with 0. You're checking for a condition, flag is equal to 0. If it's true, print greeting from emergency, update flag to 1. Outside that condition, you have a statement you entered %d count. Function is called 3 times from main with 3 different values. You have to give me the complete answer. Okay, don't give partial answers. So I got a lot of answers. Maybe I'll check those. Narendra Kumar says 25, 50, 100. What about the message? Greetings from Emergency. You have to answer that also. Sohan says 25, 50, 100. Nasruddin 25, 50, 100. What about the string? Sujit says 25, 50, 100. Will the string get printed or not? Tapan says greeting from Emergency, then 25, 50, 100. Megamala says greeting from Emergency is printed 3 times. Okay, greetings 25, 50, 100. Greetings from Emergency only. Greetings from Emergency 25, 50, 100. 25. Greetings from Saidas. Okay, Saidas says greeting from Emergency 25. Greetings from Emergency 50. Greetings from Emergency 100. Saidas, Karthik, I think your answers are right. Okay, good. Okay, Jiva also your answer is right. Greetings from Emergency 25 and so on. So let's execute this program here. Okay, let me compile this code and run this code. GCC local flag.c. You can see the answer. What's happening? Each time you call the function is called 3 times. So what is the first function print? It prints the message greeting from Emergency. Then it prints the value you entered 25. So here, please note that greeting from Emergency is inside an if condition, whereas the remaining statement, second statement, you entered the value, right? Whatever is there, it's outside the function. So so this message is getting printed every time the function is called. What is the reason? What is the reason it's Okay, new line is giving problem. I am not sure. Okay, 3 new stacks will get created. Okay, fine. Karthik says true. So let's see. So I can see some of you are finding difficulty in typing multiple lines. Others can help maybe. You have to press maybe Control Enter, something like that for multiple lines, I guess. Okay, so let's have a look at this code. So let me copy this code. Let's try to understand this code. Okay. So how does this work? Let's have a look at the stack execution, stack frame creation part. So you call the function fun. First stack frame. Let's start with the first stack frame, fun 25. Right. So what is pushed into the stack frame? What is the value of count? Count is 25. Right. What about flag? Flag is 0. The question is, flag is equal to 0. Is it created during compile time or is it created during runtime? It's a local variable, by the way. Yeah. So flag is created at runtime. Specifically, when is it created? When you say runtime, specifically when is it created? When the function is called. Yeah, Saidas, right. So on function called Rohit. Yeah, you're right. Okay, when the function is called. So this flag is part of the stack frame and it's created when the function is called. So initial value of flag, you can see it's 0, right? And this first function will have its own stack frame. Inside the stack frame of that function, flag is initialized to 0. So what happens to this condition? Is it true or false? So this condition is true, right? Because flag is equal to 0 and this becomes true. So what is it going to print? It prints this. Greetings is printed. So first time it's going to print greetings because the condition is true. But here what we are doing, we are changing the value of flag. Flag becomes 1. So this gets updated, it becomes 1. So initially flag was 0, we're updating the value of flag. After that, this print statement gets executed. So this does not have much significance here, it's not important, you can ignore that part. So the reason for asking this question was, how many times will the message greeting from Emergy get printed? This statement does not have any significance here, let's ignore this part. So it will print you enter 25, that's all right. Now when the function returns, what happens? When the function returns, this will get destroyed, right? This no longer exists. So we have a stack frame getting created when the function is called. Now this is for the first invocation. What about the second invocation? What happens? So this is destroyed. Another stack frame gets created, right? A similar basically mechanism. We will have a stack frame getting created for the second function called function of 50. Right? It's going to be similar. Count will become 20. Flag will become 0 here. So count is 50 and flag is 0. So please observe this flag is a new flag. This for the first invocation we had a different stack, for the second invocation we had a different stack. Now is as if it's like freshly executed code, all the variables are reset, you have the same output coming up here. So what happens? Flag is 0, initialized to 0 here, and this condition becomes true again. And the statement greetings from emergency is printed again. So this is executed first invocation, greeting from emergency is executed for the second condition. So flag is equal to 2, if flag is equal to 0 is always true, because flag is initialized with 0 when the function is invoked here. Hope this is clear. What will happen if the variable is declared as static is the question. Let me load the new program. Yeah, so if it is declared as static, Tapan says greeting from emergency is printed once. Yeah, Arun also says greeting from emergency is printed once, and remaining output will remain the same. Okay, true. So this code basically. Okay. So we have defined, let's say, same code, a small difference maybe. Define it as static. Samol also says one time the message will get printed. Correct. True. Asha, Kavya, Nausheen, greeting from emergency printed once. Right? True. So hope you got the concept here. So if it is static variable, then where does it get created? It gets created inside the data segment, and it's created during compile time. So let me try to explain it using a picture. Okay. So let's try to understand the difference here in the way memory is allocated. The difference is in the way memory is allocated. Right? Flag is equal to 0. Flag is 0. So when is flag initialized with 0? During compile time or at runtime? Can you answer? Compile time. Yeah, true. So flag is equal to 0 is initialized during compile time. So please understand, compile time, the CPU is not executing the program. So another way to tell this is that, okay, as soon as you run the program, that's also is a correct way of answering. As soon as you load the program, okay, these are all correct answers. So only when you run the program, memory is allocated. So either you can say it's compile time, or when you load the program, you can say. That's a terminology which you can use. So will this statement be executed ever? No, this is never executed. It's never executed. It's compiled. Okay, that statement is never executed. So main, when you call it, or the program when it starts executing, flag is equal to 0 already exists. The first function call. What happens? 4, line number 4 is never executed. It directly comes to line number 6. Condition is true or false? Condition is true because flag is equal to 0. This condition is true. So print the statement. Greetings is printed. So first time no issues because flag is 0. But we're doing something here. Flag is equal to 1. So what happens to this variable which is stored inside data segment? This will get updated to 1. Right? So this is stored inside data segment. It's not stored inside stack. When the function returns, well, ignore this statement for now. Let's not worry about this. You enter 25, whatever it is. So when the function returns, will the stack get destroyed? will the variable get destroyed? No. So variable is permanent here, right? This is a permanent variable. So first time when you call the function, it's going to print greetings from emoji because flag is 0, condition is true. Next time, second invocation, what happens? So this is fairly straightforward here. So it directly goes to line number 6 here because line number 4 does not exist. Condition will be checked. Now the second time condition becomes false here. Why does it become false? Because flag is 1 here, right? Flag equal to 0, it's checking. Flag is 1, condition becomes false. So this statement is not executed more than once. It will directly come to the statement printf, and that message you entered 25 will get printed. So greetings from emoji is printed only once because flag has been updated when the first function was invoked. Second time or the next invocation onwards, flag will be 1 and the condition becomes false here. Hope it's clear, right? So these type of programming practices are commonly used to, this is an example of a code wherein you want to ensure that a specific area of the code is executed only once, for example, right? At times you'll have such code. Initialization code will be there in a function. Initialization code you want to execute only once, etc. You can use it. And this logic, you will use it for implementing certain concepts to manage states. When you do microcontroller programming, right? This type of basically code you will see very frequently. You will see a logic to check, for example, button state has changed. For example, you may, if you've done keypad programming, right? You want to make sure that, okay, when you press the button, only then basically it should tell you that a button is pressed. Maybe when you release the button, let's say, you should not get any status update, things like that. In such cases, you will use this kind of a flag logic along with static variables. So static variables plays an important role to implement such logic. All right. Maybe when you do microcontrollers, you will come across this use case. So before we end this session, I'll just paste the link to the quiz which you can take up. Quiz link. I request all of you to take up this quiz, and most of the questions are straightforward, but you can take your time to answer these questions. All right. So I'll close the quiz questions maybe by 2 o'clock today. Okay. So before 2 o'clock, you can answer the quiz questions. So next topic is static, difference between static global and global. So I'll maybe take that also and close today's session. It's the last topic. So we can make a note of this link which I have shared with you in the chat window. All right. Please confirm in chat window whether you got the link. You can click on the link so that you have it with you. Because once a session closes, you will not be able to access that. You just click on it, copy it, and save the link. So one last topic for today difference between global and static global and static global. So what was the difference between local and static local? The difference was in terms of lifetime, right? Local variables, what was the scope and what was the lifetime? Okay, so you can see this Excel sheet, you can see. So I'll share you this Excel, but you can have a look at this now. Local variable, what is the scope? You can access it only inside the function, right? You can see this. I'll highlight it. Okay, so local variable can be accessed only inside the function. What about the lifetime? When is it created? So you can see local variables are created when the function is invoked. They are destroyed when the function returns. So scope is restricted to the function. Lifetime, it's temporary. It's created and the function is invoked, destroyed and the function returns. Where is it created? It's created inside the stack segment. What is the default value? Default value is junk. Local variables, the default value is junk. What about static local variables? So what do you see here? The static local and local, what is the difference? Scope is same. Both local variable and static local variable can be accessed only inside the function. But difference is in the lifetime. When is the static local variable created? When you run the program or when you load the program. When is it destroyed? When the program terminates. Where is it created? It's created inside the data segment. So you can see the difference between local variable and static local variable. The difference is in terms of which segment it's created. The static variables are created inside data segment. Local variables are created inside stack segment. Nature wise, you can see local variables are temporary. Static local variables are permanent or persistent. That's the difference between local and static local variable. So when somebody asks you a question, what is the difference between local and static local variable? You have to tell the difference lies in the lifetime and the segment of the local and static local variable. Static local variables are created inside BSS and local variables are created inside the stack. So you can also explain this the answer by writing something like this, right? So this type of a Excel or small table you can create and you can highlight. Actually you can create a table like this. Clear? I'll share the table to you, you can have a look. Now next question was about difference between global and static global. So static global and global. When you talk about global variables, right? What is the property? Where are they stored? They are stored inside data segment, right? Data segment. So what is the scope of global variable? Where can you access it? So global variables can be accessed from any function within your program. Okay, from any function within the program. To understand this, I will draw as give an example here. We have a.c, b.c, and main.c. So let's say you have a variable int count is equal to 5. So can I access, let's say in main function, this variable count is the question. Count, let's say I want to print the count. So can I access this count from another file, count as global. I'm getting answers, most of the answers as yes, that's true. Okay, so when you talk about global variables, the property of a global variable is that it can be accessed from anywhere. It need not be in the same file. Okay, let me do a small correction here. It's a.c. It can be accessed from any file within your program, right? So a program can consist of multiple files, like a project. When you say you can have, let's say, 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 .c files, that's called as a project. So global variables, like in this case, count is a global variable. This variable count can be accessed in a.c. It can be accessed in b.c. It can be accessed in main.c. Anywhere you can access it. Yeah, we can talk about extern later, but I'm telling whether it can be accessed or not. Mechanism we'll see later. Yes. So global variable you can access in any of the .c files. So what is the scope of global variable? From anywhere inside the program you can access it. Now when you talk about static, right? So you can access from anywhere. Count can be accessed in all .c files. Okay, it can be accessed in all .c files. Whereas if I modify it, okay, let me modify it. Okay, so I make it as static. What will happen if this is made as static? This is made as static. What is the property? Can I access count from other .c files? No, we can't, right? We cannot access count here. So this is static global. Okay, static global. So difference between global and static global is that static global variables have file scope. What does file scope mean? You can access the variable only inside the same file. That file. For example, in this case, only a.c can access the variable count. b.c cannot access count. Main.c cannot access count. Okay, that is the difference between global variable and static global variable. So only scope is different, lifetime everything is same. So it's like a private variable to that file. Hope it's clear. All right. So we'll stop the session here today. So in case you have further questions, you can always send an email. I'll send the recording of this session. So we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to take a workshop based approach wherein I'll explain how to use function pointers to define generic functions. That will be the session topic for tomorrow. So let me know your feedback regarding these 3 days of session. Your inputs are always welcome. Thank you. Always also make sure that you take up the test, okay, which I shared with you. Test link is given here. All right, so let me know your feedback, your inputs, etc. All are welcome. Gautam says, can you speed up the things a little bit so that we can learn more concepts? I can try, but others can tell whether the pace is okay. Lakshmi says it's okay. Thank you, sir. It's fine. Shashank says Nausheen says it's fine. Okay. Shashank, will you teach recursion also? Let me see. We'll take up the remaining questions. We can continue with the remaining topics. So we just plan for this week. Maybe next week also we can have similar sessions. Aishwarya says speed is fine. Stebby says this is fine. Okay. Karthik, only network problem. I understand that network problem could be there for many of you. All right. Speed is fine. So I'll continue with the same pace. That's what I feel, because majority are telling the speed is okay. Okay. Other inputs, I know it can differ from person to person. I'll take a majority based approach. Okay, Saida says speed is fine. No problem. I'll continue with the same speed because I'm getting that speed is okay from majority. So thanks everyone. Make sure that you take up the test. And if you have any questions, you can ask offline and we'll contact you regarding the lab. So please start working on the lab assignments and project. That is our request. All right. Explain 2D array concepts. So I have planned for this week. Next week also we'll continue with different topics. That's what I can say. I'll stop the recording.